Welcome back to Variant Quran. Just wanted to give you all a brief update. As you can see, I'm up on the slopes today, but I have been watching and paying attention to the comments on the videos. I wanted to respond to some of the general comments again that I've seen. Have not yet put together a response to Tayyar Altikulich's book, but that is coming. Don't want to rush that. In reality, the approach that he's taken to my book isn't going to be all that challenging to answer, but I do want to take my time on it and get it right. In general, what he seems to be saying is that because there are a lot of corrections because there are a lot of other manuscripts that are possibly contemporaneous to the ones that I've shown in my 20 examples, that the other manuscripts have the expected rasam as we have today, that therefore there's nothing to see here, that it's nothing to be concerned about, that it's not anything more than a correction. But I don't think it's quite as simple as that, and certainly at least a couple of the ones that I've shown you already seem to not allow that as a possibility, in my opinion. In any event, that seems to be sort of the gist of his book. The other thing is that he addresses the issue of Orientalism, and I'll have more to say about that. I have said something about it already, but that is just a larger issue that has been an issue in our field of study for a very long time, and I think we need to give that some serious focus. But when I see somebody looking and classifying people as Orientalists, it often means that they intend it as a derogatory term. I don't see it as a derogatory term. I don't necessarily embrace it as the entire definition of who I am and what I do, but I likewise don't shy away. The Orientalists have done some very good scholarship in our area. But anyway, we'll deal with that as well. And then he asked some questions about my motivations. Again, I'll come back to that and deal with that in time. Anyway, this video is not a refutation or a response directly, principally or majorly to Altikulich's book. I just wanted to address that in a preliminary form and say hello to all of you. I know it's been a while since I put up a video, and so one other commenter asked just this past week, went through and said that my response to Haitham Sidki's review looked weak, and that looked like I was admitting that everything was merely corrections of mistakes, scribal mistakes. And I clearly don't think that's the case. We're still, as I've said, at the very beginning of this area and topic of research. And so it needs humility, and that's the thing I just want to keep coming back to on this, is we need humility in looking at these manuscripts. We need to have a lot of people looking and comparing things, as has started to be done. Actually, what Altikulich did with finding the other manuscripts in each one of those passages is one of the things that really should be done on with all of these corrections to assess them. That is one of the steps that is valuable to do with this. But I think we should not jump to the conclusion at the beginning, and I haven't jumped to conclusions at the beginning. I've just put out possibilities, and these possibilities are so very tentative. If you've been watching these videos and you've been reading my book, you know that I've not come to very strong conclusions. I've just put out some very tentative broad strokes things there. So those, and I think that's the right way to be doing it. Now, we want to approach it with rigor, and there are a lot of other people out there doing work with a good amount of rigor. We also want to be not avoiding and coming quick to the conclusion that, oh, these are just scribal mistakes, and therefore they were corrected. So I don't know where this leads. I don't know if I know where different camps want it to lead, and you know, we'll see where it goes. But let me think if there's something else that anybody has said. There were a couple of other really good questions out there, really good comments. One or two commenters have focused on some of the intertextuality with the Bible, with the New Testament, or apparent intertextuality. Actually, it's kind of a fraught territory when you start talking about the well, causality or intertextuality, I think, is fairly obvious, that there is the text of the Quran is speaking about and referring to the text of the Bible. And so I think it's something that we need to deal with and pay attention to, particularly when there are biblical themes and possible relation to some particular biblical passage in any of the verses that we're looking at, with corrections, to consider whether there is something going on there beyond a mere correction. And the other big question that people have is, do you have corrections that have some theological significance? And I got this question from somebody in a conversation just this past week about the theological significance of any given correction. And I told this person, I just mentioned to them, and I don't know if I've said it on here, but that is obviously a very important question about theological significance, but it's something that needs to be looked at very closely on a case-by-case basis. And the example that I gave to this person is that of David Powers. David Powers, he found one small issue on BNF Arab 328 and wrote an entire book and did some serious thought on that one small correction on a word involving one letter. A lam, a difference between one lam and two. And so if we think about that one correction in one manuscript and think of the thousands that I and my friends have located so far, there's a lot of work to do on this, and it's not just quite as easy as saying, is there theological significance to this one? There's probably a checklist that we need to go through to identify the possible theological significance in any given case, but it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of thought and effort and comparison and stuff. It's just not as simple as looking at one and saying, is this theologically significant? Sometimes it's probably a little bit more obvious than others, but I just wanted to mention that it is a very good question to ask, a natural question and an important question, but it's one that we approach slowly and deliberately with these things. So I want to let you know that I will be coming through with the additional page from BL 2165. Sorry, I haven't gotten that edited and out to you yet. And upcoming, of course, is going to be a fuller response to Dr. Altikulich's book, responding to my book, and more stuff on the horizon, as well as an announcement about my forthcoming book in translation into another language. It is now complete after having been reviewed by a proofreader in that language. So it's translated into the language and it's proofread, and it's just about ready. So I'll be making an announcement about that soon, hopefully within this week or next, to let you know that it has been published and let you know more about it. That's it for today. I want to thank you for watching, and I'm going to get back on the slopes. Just wanted to check in and say hi. I hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world, and we will talk to you again soon. Be sure to like and subscribe, and do leave comments. It's getting to where I'm getting a lot of comments, and it's hard for me to respond to everyone, but I do really appreciate those, especially if it's thoughtful and substantive. And as you see, I'm trying to make an effort to put up some of the best ones of those in videos as well. Okay, we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.